It has been observed by several gentlemen in vindication of this motion that it should not be, if it should be carried, neither my life, liberty, nor estate will be affected. But do the honourable gentlemen consider my character and reputation as of no moment? It is no imputation to be arraigned before this house, in which I have sat 40 years, and to have my name transmitted to posterity with disgrace and infamy. I will not conceal my sentiment that to be named in Parliament as a subject of inquiry is to me a matter of great concern. But I have the satisfaction, at the same time, to reflect that the impression to be made depends upon the consistency of the charge and the motives of the prosecutors. My great and principal crime is my long continuance in office, or in other words, the long exclusion of those who now complain against me. This is the heinous offence which exceeds all others. I keep from them the possession of that power, those honours and those emoluments to which they so ardently and pertinaciously aspire. I will not attempt to deny the reasonableness and necessity of a party war, but in carrying on that war all principles and rules of justice should be not departed from. The Tories must confess that the most obnoxious persons have felt few instances of extrajudicial power. Wherever they have been arraigned, a plain charge has been exhibited against them. They had an impartial trial and have been permitted to make their defence. And will they, who have experienced this fair and equitable mode of proceedings, act in direct opposition to every principle of justice and establish this fatal precedent of parliamentary inquisition? Whom would they conciliate by a conduct so contrary to principle and precedent? Gentlemen have talked a great deal of patriotism, a venerable word when duly practised. But I am sorry to say that of late it has been so much hackneyed about that it is in danger of falling into disgrace. The very idea of true patriotism is lost, and the term has been prostituted to the very worst of purposes. A patriot, sir, why, patriots spring up like mushrooms. I could raise 50 of them within the 4 and 20 hours. I have raised many of them in one night, but it is but refusing to gratify an unreasonable or an insolent demand, and upstarts a patriot. I have never been afraid of making patriots, but I disdain and despise all their efforts. This pretended virtue proceeds from personal malice and disappointed ambition. There is not a man among them whose particular aim I am not able to ascertain, and from that motive they have entered into the lists of opposition. I shall now consider the articles of accusation which they have brought against me, and which they have not thought fit to reduce to specific charges. And I shall consider these in the same order as that in which they were placed by the honourable member who made the motion. First, in regard to foreign affairs; secondly, to domestic affairs; and thirdly, to the conduct of the war. As to foreign affairs, I must take notice of the uncandid manner in which the gentlemen, and on the other side, have managed the question by blending numerous treaties and complicated negotiations into one general mass. To form a fair and candid judgment of the subject, it becomes necessary not to consider the treaties merely insulated, but to advert to the time in which they were made, to the circumstances and situation of Europe when they were made, to the peculiar situation in which I stand, and to the power